this was fascinating, and I'm guessing that this will be on Rachel Maddow's show tonight because it was on her blog. Steve Bannon, who's one of her producers, and writes some of the most thoughtful and insightful stuff that I've come to regularly read. Maddow blog. It's msnbc.com/Maddow blog, I think is how you get there. But anyhow, Steve Bannon wrote this piece that I didn't know about this. This apparently in early August, Rachel had flagged this. I don't know if it means on the air or not, presumably. Steve Bannon writes, back in early August, Rachel flagged a curious campaign finance move that I still don't understand. I got to tell you, Steve, I don't understand it either. But it's fascinating. Apparently, Ted Cruz, one of the super PACs that supports Ted Cruz, that was created to support Ted Cruz, it's called Keep the Promise, made a $500,000 payment to another super PAC called Carly for America. Why would Ted Cruz's super PAC give $500,000 to Carly Fiorina's super PAC? Now, apparently the FEC is even looking into this. I got to say, I have a theory about this, and that is that Ted Cruz knows that he does not have the political credibility, he doesn't have. He's not capable of becoming president all by himself. He represents a small slice of the fringe of the Republican base, the religious Christian Protestant fundamentalists, and to some extent the people who hate immigrants. Although it's weird because Ted Cruz was born in Canada and his father was Hispanic, and it's like, really, and not an American or a Canadian. And suddenly nobody is talking about, natural-born citizens. Well, that's only when it's a black guy. Ted Cruz's skin is very, very white. But all that said, he can't get elected president all by himself. His persona is too wimpy. His policies are too weird. So he's looking for allies. And I don't know if you've noticed, but for the last couple of weeks, as Donald Trump has climbed up in the polls, Ted Cruz has been following him around. I was trying to think of a metaphor, and what immediately came to mind is Louise's new dog. Louise got this dog. In fact, I brought him in the studio, and for those of you watching on TV, I showed you. He's a 25-pound miniature border Australian sheepdog, as I recall. Yeah. He's a black and white, cute little dog. He's like that dog on the RCA logo. Those of you old enough to remember, his master's voice, that logo. And in fact, there's a TV ad now that's got a dog just like him. Anyway, the dog's name is Blue because he's got one blue eye. And Blue's favorite thing to do is to lick bare legs. If we're walking down the street, anybody with shorts, look out. And his favorite thing to do is to try to lick. And if I'm, getting out of bed or going to the bathroom or something, Blue runs. I want to lick his leg, right? He's a leg licker, and we brought him into the studio, and Shayna was walking around in shorts, and Blue runs up, and he's got to lick his shins, right? He doesn't go much above the knees, thank God. There are those dogs, the Crotch Hounds. He doesn't do that, but he's really into shins. He's only that high. I mean, he's not tall enough to get much above people's knees, but. So anyhow, Ted Cruz was behaving very much like Blue relative to Donald Trump. He's been following him around for the last couple of weeks, licking his legs. And I think it's because Ted Cruz knows that he can't win, and he's hoping that Trump will make him VP. Well, now that it's becoming obvious that Donald Trump, at least obvious to me, and I think Ted Cruz is no idiot, it's becoming obvious that Donald Trump has been a summer wonder who is going to fade very quickly. He's rapidly becoming the David Duke candidate. Probably George Wallace is a better analogy. George Wallace actually, took a couple of states in the Democratic primary back in, what was it, 68, I think, and on his Southern racist position. Now the positions are slightly different, but George Wallace was an extremist candidate within the party, and he took a few votes here and there, but he couldn't have done anything unless Hubert Humphrey had decided to make him his running mate or something like that, and then George Wallace might have had a chance. And I think that Ted Cruz now, he's looking around and he's going, okay, who shall I hook up with? Who shall I partner with to try to get to the White House? Trump is going down in flames. Scott Walker's going down in flames. John Kasich is too serious a guy to even have a conversation with Ted Cruz. The other guys, Rand Paul is too marginal, and besides that, Rand Paul is a libertarian, probably an atheist. God forbid, we can't have him. So who's left? Carly Fiorina. So here, Carly, have $500,000 and be my vice presidential candidate, or put me on the ticket as your vice presidential candidate. Let's try to ride this thing to the White House together. A Hispanic and a woman, it's a ticket that is made for an America that is saying enough of the old white guys already.